I have a friend with a bad back. He had surgery on it about a year or two ago. By the way he uses himself, I can tell he's going to have nothing but trouble with his back into the future. But despite this, he has zero interest in looking at the habits that are causing his problems. This man in his 20s walks around with a chronically compressed neck and spine and hunched shoulders. There's nothing that he can do to overcome this. He can only learn to undo his habits that are causing his back problems. This guy is way into exercise, but every time he exercises, he only ingrains these bad habits deeper and deeper. Other friends of mine find they cannot sit comfortably for longer than an hour or so. Now, some of them are open to looking at things they're doing that make their spines and thighs so tight, but others of them just want to be fixed. They just want to go to a chiropractor or a masseuse or an acupuncturist and have their problems disappear without any effort on their part. The thing is that if their problems are caused by their bad use of themselves, their continued bad use of themselves will only cause these problems to repeatedly recur and in all likelihood get worse as they age. So I notice that most people tip their heads back, compress their necks and shoulders, shorten their backs, and gasp for air every time they speak. It's like, in all likelihood, every time they take a breath, they do a small amount of this unnecessary compression to their necks and spines. So such people have nothing but trouble as they age. They're living in a straitjacket of their own habits, and every day this straitjacket gets a little bit tighter. So I know of nothing like the Alexander technique. Like all the other transformational systems of which I am aware, Alexander is about undoing rather than doing. You don't layer a new level of exercises on top of your bad habits of use in an Alexander approach. You learn instead to become aware of the things you are doing that are hurting yourself, to gradually let them go, replacing them with a poised and graceful use of yourself. Many people don't like Alexander technique because it requires them to work. From the first lesson, you're going to have to pay attention to the signals you're sending from your brain to your body and to start reprogramming them if you want to feel better. Alexander technique is all about mind-body unity and psycho-physical re-education. It's hard work. I have a friend who does work that beats up his body, and every morning he wakes up with all these significant aches and pains, and he's a wreck, and he's young. Okay, that can wait. So most of these aches and pains are unnecessary. They're a result of him using himself poorly. But does he have any interest in looking at these habits that are hurting him? None. He just wants to be fixed. He just wants to go to the chiropractor every week and get adjusted. He loves his masseuse and his acupuncturist. His interest in taking responsibility for his own pain is zero. I have another friend whose posture is so bad that people just recoil from him. He has such a disturbed head-neck-back relationship that he can't reach with ease into the refrigerator, can't pick things off the shelf at the supermarket without assistance. Tipping way back from his pelvis, his neck compressed and his head jutting forward. He's just a wreck. And the way he relates to others is equally atrocious. So how are you going to be at ease with yourself and with other people when you're doing violence to your body with every waking moment? So I've talked to this guy about Alexander technique, but he has no interest. He's too invested in his own misery and in being a victim to take responsibility for his own choices. He has no interest in looking at the things he does with his habits that keep him socially isolated. By contrast, somebody who moves with grace and ease and poise is likely to be at ease with himself. Somebody at ease with himself and his body is likely to be at ease with other people. There's a great word for people like this. Happy.